Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. So, this is Anna again, and this is our third training session. And today we'll focus on getting started on the innovation project. Before we get started, I wanted to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. A big thank you to all our sponsors and supporters. Without their support, we will not be able to bring these programs to children in the community. Thank you to volunteers from Intel, from ASU, from SWE, Society of Women Engineers, and a number of industries who are supporting the work we do. Thank you so much. So we'll get started on the innovation project. So we know that FIRST has a few key segments, a few focus areas. The robot games and the robot design are the most favorite for many of our kids. They love to build the Legos and then code the robot to go do different missions. But there's also the other two pieces of FIRST, which is the innovation project and the core values. My favorite piece of the FIRST program is the innovation project. So today I think we can focus on the innovation project and see how we can support our teams. So on the innovation project, your team, the goal or the objective of your team is to, at the end, prepare a very engaging presentation and share it with the judges. In order for them to do that, they will follow the engineering design process. So, the design process is essentially where they identify and research one problem that they will solve as a team. They will solve it together. So for them to identify this problem and research a problem, they will go through this brainstorming process, which the kids will sit together and brainstorm and come up with one idea that the whole team will think as a problem that they want to solve. And most of the teams will create some drawings. Some of the teams will create some models. Some of the teams may also create some prototypes and then share it with parents, with friends, with schoolmates, and get their feedback. So by this process of sharing and getting feedback, they're able to improve the solution that they want to propose for this problem statement. And then eventually, they'll come up with a good presentation and try to uh, build it up and then present to the judges. So this is what this innovation project is about. So this year, first is asking all the teams one challenge, right? So how can you use technology and arts to communicate or increase participation in what you love to do? So basically, children will brainstorm their favorite hobbies and their favorite what they love to do, and then look at many experts in the museums, theaters, and creative fields because it's centered around art. And then they will see how they can increase participation by others by sharing what they love to do. So it's a combination of arts and technology. That's the challenge for this year. First has provided a lot of guidelines in order to achieve this goal. So there's a challenge overview website. So I'll share these slides. You can go there and take a look at the challenge overview. You can also look at the engineering notebooks. The key thing is the judges are looking for what is the process the children used in solving this problem, and not about whether this is the best solution, and not whether this is the right solution, but they're basically looking at this process, of what process did the children use. So the engineering design process is shown here. So basically, as a team, the children will identify a specific problem, and they will identify and research a problem. So in order for children to do that, we would usually have the children sit on a mat and brainstorm and share what their hobbies are. So each child may have a hobby that they wanted to share, and then we kind of build up that discussion by asking the kids, how can you teach your hobby to someone else and make it fun and engaging. So in order for the kids to come up with that kind of a feedback, they have to go and do some research. So you can give a homework for them to go do some research, or during your session you can give them like 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes to go search on the internet, to search or talk to people and see like what are their hobbies, and how do they think they can share those hobbies to get other people interested, and then how they can use maybe technology to make others more interested. And then are there any experts in the field that they can go and talk to or interview in order to get more information on this problem that they're working on. So I think the first two steps is more of what we do every day at work, is basically trying to understand and select a problem. So identifying a problem and then doing research and understanding more about this problem. So this is the kind of guidance we want to give the students in this engineering design process. So identifying a problem, identifying and researching a problem, and once they research a problem, they can write it down and share it with the team members, and the whole team will then select one problem as the team want to pursue for the rest of the season. So you want to first start as an individual feedback, individual inputs, but eventually you want to narrow it down to say one problem statement that the entire team will work on. So the entire team will do research on, and the entire team will brainstorm and think of what kind of solutions are there now, and then can we make those solutions better. So they can come up with brand new solution, or they can come up with improving an existing solution. So these are the things that kids will do, and they will also one of the things that we encourage the teams to do is if there are any experts that they can talk to in this field, that we would like to connect them with them. For instance, there may be someone that's working in a museum, and they can talk to the kids over Zoom, and kids can ask a lot of questions. This is a great topic, and I think a lot of the kids love arts. So having them talk about what they love, having them talk about why they love that hobby, and having them research how can they share this hobby to in so more people can be interested in that hobby, right? So these are the things we should guide children to pursue for from an engineering design standpoint. And then once the team has done a lot of research and come up with some idea, they can create the solution by drawing it out. Most of our team members, they love to draw. So we can have the kids draw something, and then so they can share it with others. So or some of our students may even make some models with a lot of Lego pieces that's laying around, and then share it with others and get feedback from others. And once they get feedback, they can make their solution even better. So we want to encourage kids to draw or make a model, and then share your ideas and collect the feedback. And once they get the feedback, then they want to kind of put all of this together and create a nice presentation that they can share with the judges. So the goal is to make sure that all the kids participate, every child participates in this process, because that's also part of the core values. So during core values, you're looking at whether all the kids are participating in this process, in the presentations, and so all this coaches and mentors can help. And then yeah, pretty fun topic this year, and I think a lot of kids will love this topic this year. And it's not about what's the solution that they come up with in the end. It's all about this going through this great process, different steps that they go through in order to come up with this innovation project. So I think first has provided some kind of examples of experts like museum curators. So you can talk about museum curators, and then there's a lot of questions you can ask to just kind of initiate the discussions, right? Have you been to a museum? Who was this museum? Why? What did you see in a museum? And what kind of technologies are used in the museum? And I love museum because it's a great place where technology and arts are combined and to grab people's attention. It's a great discussion. That way you can start the discussion. And also, other examples that first is provided in that engineering notebooks, stage managers and visual effect directors, a lot of things that they can learn in the process of coming up with their own new solution. So as I mentioned before, the judges are looking for the process. What kind of engineering design process did the students use in this innovation project? And then, for more information, you can also look at the rubrics. So the rubrics the judges will use is also attached in the slides. I won't go through the rubrics, but you can just use it as a guidelines. If the children understood the concept of identifying a problem, have they understood the concept of brainstorming, have they understood the concept of researching? So for all of this, you want to collect the paperwork that kids are doing on in every time you meet. They may be drawing something, writing down something. All this is documentation that shows that they have learned this process and have gone through this engineering design process. And that's pretty much what the judges are looking for. This is a great opportunity to teach children what we do every day at work. So this year, first the way first is going to do this judging process is each team will get about 30 minutes, and the first 2 minutes is for introducing the team. So the children, we have to practice with the kids how to introduce themselves, their name, their grade, and their maybe the school they go to. And then that's for the first 2 minutes, and then they will present their innovation project. So most of our teams, or almost all of our teams, will make a nice poster that they will hold and they will talk. Each child will present a small session of the presentation, and then 5 minutes for Q&A. And then along with this same in the same session, they will also do the present the robot design. So another poster for robot design will also be a nice piece to include. How did they start with a small robot and then add different attachments and stuff like that. So that's a robot design. There'll be a Q&A around that. And then for core values, previously we used to make posters and do a presentation, but now this time they have combined it with the rest of throughout this process. The judges will be watching whether children are practicing the core values that is FLL has. So they don't have a separate presentation, they will just ask a few questions and they're watching the students throughout the session. And then judges may provide some feedback to the kids and have a good chat with them. So it's the 30 minutes. This is what you can expect. So maybe kind of preparing the kids to what to expect is a great way. And this is for the Arizona team. ASU website has updated the challenge, all the events, and then the tournaments. The schedule for the tournaments will be posted shortly. And also Elaine Card, who is the senior coordinator for outreach, she is doing some Zoom sessions, Q&A sessions. The next session is on September 25th at 4:30. I think everyone is welcome to join that session. And that's pretty much what I had for the innovation project. So maybe we can stop the recording and we can do a Q&A.